What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the first episode, season 7 of The Climb. I am your host, X-Ray. This week, normally I'm joined by two other individuals, but this week, just me, myself, and I. But that doesn't mean we're still not going to have fun, and I'm still going to go over all the games, all the series starting off. But we have a lot of new people this season here in Summit. So if you don't know what The Climb is, it's basically Summit's version of a podcast where we talk about the games. I talk about key players, key plays that happen in games. And yeah, that's pretty much all we do. Myself, I have been a part of every Summit season since the start, even before Summit was officially called Summit. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. And I say we just head right into the week 1 games. So starting off, we have Vanguard Elite versus the Ellie and 4 Kittens. So and something new I'm trying this season is you get to see so this will show us the draft, the damage graphs, or for the first series it doesn't have the graphs, but nonetheless we have the pictures. That's really all I really wanted to show you guys, and then the next picture will be draft. We can talk about that and everything like that. But I'm really excited. So let's just head into game number 1. So overall, draft looked pretty standard. The Shen blind pick is very interesting, but honestly, I don't think it's terrible. But for game 1, early Vanguard Elite, I believe, had a early was pretty even in terms of kills and gold. I would say there was some good fights by both teams. However, Ellie and 4 Kittens got a small lead through their 2 really good team fights in the early game. However, due to mispositioning by Luton, specifically, and I'm gonna call him out. Loon, poor positioning. Just getting caught out a lot in the next just couple minutes, and Ellie and 4 Kittens lost a lot of objectives over it and lost kills, and therefore gave Vanguard Elite to come back into that mid and late game. And as soon as Vanguard had the controller seat, or the seat, or driver seat, sorry, they were pretty much in control for the rest of the game, and it was a pretty clean game after that for Vanguard Elite. I think there was maybe 3 more deaths after, I think it was second dragon fight or third dragon fight, I believe. So, but overall, not a bad start to a game. I definitely liked how Ellie and 4 Kittens did have they had some potential, but I just think they fell short this week to Vanguard Elite. And then Vanguard Elite, I mean, really good plays. Sai Yunara was crazy. He pressed R and just started dashing in, so pretty cool. But moving on to game number 2. Here we got Vanguard kind of did the 180, and Vanguard actually had an early lead by splitting the map. Vanguard Elite took the bot side, while Ellie and 4 Kittens took the top side. However, I feel like in terms of who won versus splitting the map, it was definitely Vanguard Elite. I definitely thought they got more out of it. Really good plays by Bouncy, good ganks in the bot side to help accelerate Sai on the Smolder, especially since Smolder's that late game champ that really wants to get those stacks and excel quickly in order to get that execute, so he can just kill everyone in the team fights. And kind of like just game one was Loon was just getting caught out quite a few times, and Vanguard took full advantage of that. And that led to Batsy just having this large lead on this Nocturne, just pressing the R button and finding picks on the side lanes. And then, Ellie, I think it was Vanguard Elite took Dragon, I believe, and they had to reset. They could not fight Otacon, but there was some time, so they took a reset, and they thought they could go for it, but when they got to Otacon, Ellie and the Forkins had just finished it, so really well done by them getting a timer off of Vanguard Elite. And honestly, I don't know if maybe Otacon helped them win this next team fight at Dragon, the next Dragon. They got the next Dragon. They won the fight just because Zai just stepped up a little too far. He got picked, and so a lot of their damage was gone. And then a really good stun by Guildborn, I believe, is the top laner for Ellie. Yeah, really good stun on the Jax by Guildborn, and able to just clean the fight up pretty well. But unfortunately, however, Vanguard lead was just too big at that point, and Size Smolder was able to get to the execution stacks at 225 stacks, and just was kind of winning a lot of these team fights for his team. But really good, ultimates by Maokai. I think it's Seeker, right? Hang on, we're gonna do a team check real quick. Oh, it didn't load. That's very sad. But I believe it's Seeker that was playing Maokai. So really good ultimates by her, or by them. And then shout out to Tubby getting that quadra kill in the game as well, in a really big fight. And then once again, another shout out to Tubby. Thank you, Tubby, for providing the screenshots that you were able to see. So thank you so much. And I think with that is going to wrap up Vanguard Elite versus Ellie and Forkins. Now, do I think, granted, this is week one, so a lot of these teams, some of them haven't played at all yet. Some of them have only practiced, one series. So I'm not expecting anything too crazy going into next week for either team. I mean, Vanguard Elite definitely looked comfortable and dominant in their showing. From what I saw, and I only had Spiritman's POV. There was also Loons, but I didn't watch it. I only watched Spiritman's POV. But they looked very comfortable in what they were doing, and very confident as well. But Ellie and Forkins, I don't think I'm going to discredit them yet. Maybe it was just a bad week, bad matchup, and once again, maybe they just haven't felt out each other yet, and so they just don't know how to play together yet. But with that, I'm going to take a drink, and we're going to go into the next series, which is going to be X Unit versus Gawr's 3rd grade class. Oh, that's the wrong one. There we go. So, Gawr, returning as a captain, just sticking to that naming trend of giving himself a class to teach, and I really love Gawr's naming. I'm just expecting a new grade every season, so I hope he keeps staying. I really want him to go to like either college or at least 18. At least get to that, or not 18, 12th grade. I would love to see his senior class. So, but anyways, enough about the naming. Let's talk about the series. So, game one, X Unit had a early lead very good ganks in the mid lane by Riddy and Shibs, able to kind of discredit the Gawr Vanguard, but unable to kind of do that, and then just due to a lot of poor positioning and players being caught out by Gawr's great Vanguard cages. Gawr really did fantastic stuff in this series, and then just great follow up by the rest of his team. Gawr's 3 great camps was able to actually pull out the win on this one. It was pretty dominant, I would say, in terms of like side laning and everything like that. Like, well, I wouldn't even say side laning actually. It just like team fights. X unit just would not like we just ran into Gawr, and he would just throw a cage and we'd all just get trapped and we'd just all die because we have no escape tools out of it. So it sucks. They did take the game off of us. And yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of else about game 1, but I definitely think Gawr had a phenomenal showing in this series specifically, or in this game specifically, sorry. But moving on to game number 2. So we have some very interesting picks coming out here. First off, X-Ray, myself, picked my signature Ornn, blind, and then we have an Ambessa jungle coming out from Riddy. Very weird pick, but definitely was very cool to see. And it was kind of the opposite of game 1, where Gawr's 3rd grade class got a lead, or an early game lead, but X Unit was able to have some solid team fights with a combination of finding players out of position and able to pull out the win here. Riddy finding some really key ganks into the mid lane when Gawr just doesn't have flash, has no escape tools, and Shibs was able to capitalize off that. So really well done. And then I haven't really talked about him yet. JGGT, really confident player, played really well into a very tough bot lane. He was struggling throughout the majority of the game, but was able to pull it back, in that mid to late game. And then toot my own horn a little bit, but the Ornn looked very, very good. Really good ultimates by myself, and I hit 14 and I start right clicking people and upgrading items, and yeah, that's about it for game 2. Pretty clean cut and dry. And then finally our last game number 3. Once again, kind of a weird pick. First for Riddy, Darius jungle. Was very curious why he wanted it, but he absolutely popped off. 12, 3, and 10 on the Darius. Was just running around killing people all day, every day. And then kind of some weird picks coming out from Gawr's as well. We have a Aatrox mid, which was very unique. I was not expecting it, and thus why I picked Malphite. But also, the 3 main champions are all AD, so I was like, this looks like a clean Malphite game. Just ban Silas, should be chilling. But then I totally got bamboozled, and Zerner brought out his very, very, I wouldn't say super clean Mordekaiser, but it was definitely good to the degree. Did abuse me quite a bit, but was able to get a lead in the top lane through CS, but just unable to capitalize, just due to JGGT played very confidently, and our sub Fracture, I believe is his name. Played very well, game 3. Much better than game 1 and 2. So props to him. And then JGT played super confidently. Shibs, even if he's into this Aatrox mid, capitalize off of these key moments, good ultimates. So really good. And then just we had really good cross maps. And just was able to out team fight and out macro G. Oh my god, I just realized that's gonna be a tongue tie. Gawr's team. We'll just say Gawr's team. And that's about it for X Unit versus Gawr's 3rd grade class. Yes, X Unit. We did win, but there were definitely some things we could definitely improve on. Granted, we did not have Gamer D. He was on a vacation, so should have him back this week. So I'm excited to run it back with our correct squad, or our full team squad. Sorry. And then Gawr's 3rd grade class. No real big comments for them. I definitely think they're definitely a team to watch out for, though. Because they definitely did have moments, even though they do have a couple players off roll. I still think this team is going to be a problem in the later stages of the season. So keep an eye out for them. But with that, we are going to move on to our last and final game, Fraud Watch 2099 versus Catboy and Joyers. This one and this one. Take a little drink real quick. All right. So, game 1. So draft is a little bit of an issue for me. I think everything, like picking wise, is okay, but so we pick Braum though blind into 1 melee. I think that's a little bit of a poor pick. That's my opinion, and I think it's pretty good, or I think it's correct, I should say. But my biggest concern is this B4 Ornn. We're picking Ornn into Braum, who basically makes your ultimate or negates your ultimate completely, unless he doesn't have it up, of course. But I think it's not terrible, I guess, but it was definitely, I think, played poorly by Baratel, because Seeker got a lot more ultimates off than I was expecting of him. So, but honestly, well played by Seeker and able to capitalize off of Baratel's timers. And then biggest thing I want to talk about is this whole series is a battle of the coin flippers. So anyone who's new to this, Heiko, which is Fraud Watch's ADC, and then Asteria, Catboy's ADC, they are both what we call coin flip players. They either go 10-0 or 0-10. So it was very unique to see these two players play against each other, especially in the first week. And as you can see, Heiko 3-8-1, and then on the other side, Asteria 21-2. So it's very different players, but they're basically the same player, I guess, is how I'm saying it. And yeah, but getting into the actual game, super slugfest, super bloody early game. Very interesting. Like, I believe it was level 2 by Fraud Watch. Unara and Morgana, or Asteria and Sunny Blues, were able to just get this early lead in the bot lane just because Unara is just pumping out damage with Q. And I just don't think Heiko and Baratel had the damage or enough damage to actually kill Unara, because it got low, but I just don't think it was possible. But it was honestly a way closer game than it probably should have been, because Catboy Rangers had this just large lead in almost every role. But ultimately, I think Catboy Rangers beat Fraud Watch's excellent macro. Gumby Power did not have a big enough lead, I think, for the top lane. Really big CS lead though. Almost over 100 CS. I can't remember the term for it. But I think Gumby Power is a very good top laner. I just don't think he did as much in this game with the Fiora pick than we have traditionally seen here in Summit. Granted, he is new to the role. He is off-role. He normally plays mid lane. So, interested to see what he comes up with next week. But, Gumby was, playing the macro well, playing the opposite side of the lane, just being a normal split pusher. But ultimately, I think Catboy Rangers team fights were just able to end a lot sooner than Gumby was expecting, and he got matched way sooner than he wanted. But still, very close game. Both teams were in each other's bases at one point, so very close. But ultimately, Catboy Rangers did take the dub just due to that Yunara champion. Very balanced, by the way, Riot Games. So, but let's move on to game number 2. So very interesting draft here. We picked Skarner Mundo for not Fraudwatch, Catboy Rangers. And well, I don't think it's bad. Gummy Power does an excellent pick here, which is the Gwen. I think that's fine. Mundo, it's gonna suck, but it's not the worst. However, I think when we're banning for Catboy Rangers, I think we need to we have to ban the Trundle. I think Fraudwatch gets way more value with the 2 tanks in the game, especially when they have a Trundle. I think if Trundle is something else, then I think the 2 tanks is way better. But ultimately, Trundle just presses R on one of the tanks, and all of a sudden you're down to 4 members in a 4v5. So that's my personal opinion. I think the not banning Trundle was a huge blunder there. So that's my words. Anyways, moving on. Pretty rough game though, for the Catboy Enjoyers. Especially mid lane. Pyrosis was subbing in for Dean. It was very rough because Pyrosis is playing Quay, pushing, and he got camped very hard in the mid lane. And Pyrosis, just really rough game. So really, shout out to Blob to be able to, take advantage of those flash timers. And then Gix, had a really good showing this game. Looking at last game, he was not doing super well. But still, he played confidently. And this game, kind of a comeback with the help of Blob, so props to him. And then bot lane had an early lead, but with good catches and team fights, Fraudwatch was just able to pull it back. But the Zeri and Sona were just very strong in the early game, but able to kind of pull it back with just excellent team fights and good picks, and really good rockets by Heiko. So, Heiko was just able to kind of come back into the game and, win the game ultimately. And just real big shout out to Blob this game, securing every objective in the game. So that was probably one of the biggest reasons why Fraud Watch took game 2. So good shit, Blob. And then finally, heading in to our last game, game number 3. Oh, you guys probably want to see it. Game number 3. Pretty standard game. So Catboy and Jurors pick Sivir, and Fraud Watch respond with Smolder. So it's pretty standard. This is going to be a scaling matchup. Whoever scales the hardest is going to win the game. So, but if you look at specifically the mid lane, Pyrosis 20-7. This is just the Pyrosis show. Almost every fight revolved around him throughout the whole game. 20 kills, so really well done by Pyrosis getting those leads. But honestly, everyone by the side of oh, that's supposed to be swapped. It's supposed to be Catboy and Joyers on red. No, I lied. Other way around. So Catboy and Joyers are supposed to be blue side. Nope, never mind. It's swapped. Names are not right on the draft. So Catboy and Joyers were on red, and Fraud Watch was on blue. But yeah, honestly, there's not a whole lot of stuff to talk about this game. I mean, there was some good fights by Fraud Watch, but ultimately, like, Pyrosis was just so dominant, getting early kills in the mid lane. And it was kind of like an opposite feel of last game, how Pyrosis was getting camped. Gix now was getting camped. And Pyrosis took that lead and just went ham. So, well done, Pyrosis. Not a whole lot else to say about this series. Catboy and Jurors, I did really enjoy their play, but I'm gonna be a little, or sorry, they only subbed in one player. They were gonna sub 2, but ultimately I think when Dean comes back, and this is what I know, and I asked Sunny Blues, so Dean is going to be support and Sunny Blues is going to be mid. I think this is going to be a totally different team than the one we saw this week. So I'm excited to see what happens next week if Dean is here. But we will see how that goes. And then Fraud Watch, I don't know how they really win games yet. Just because Heiko is so much of a coin flipper, I think Blob needs to put in more resources into bot in order to kind of extend that lead, because Gummy Power is a challenge player playing against a lot of low tier players, so I'm expecting Gummy Power to get those leads, but we'll see. Right now I'm not really sure about this team yet, but I think they have a chance to be good. But it's really gonna come down to how Heiko plays in some of these games. And yeah, I think that's gonna about wrap up the games. But if anyone doesn't know, something we've done in the past seasons is we've done predictions. And you know what? I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to do predictions. And I'm going to try to keep track. I didn't do week 1, so I'm down 3 predictions, but that's okay. But let's show you my 3 predictions for this week. So starting off, we have Fraud Watch versus X Unit. And as an X Unit player and the manager, I'm going to pick my team. No bias at all. Total bias. And then we have Vanguard Elite versus Gawr's third grade class. This one I had to take some time to actually think about it, and kind of compare the players as I was looking at it. And to be honest, I think it's gonna really come down to I'm actually gonna pull up the player list one more time. I think it's really gonna come down to bot lane, I believe. Let me just quick look. Yeah, so Different and Sunshine B, and then BR, or not, sorry, not BR. Foreign Guy and Kai could go either way. I mean, I would definitely say Foreign Guy and Kai definitely have a slight advantage. And then we have the biggest thing, I think, what led me to pick Gawr is I think BR and Gawr are going to outperform Luton and Harley, and they're going to be able to transition their jungle mid lead into other lanes, hopefully. And then Guildborn versus Zerner. I mean, it's definitely Guildborn favor, being that Masters player playing into, I believe a gold player, I think is Zerner. So, we'll see. But ultimately, I went with Gawr's third grade class just due to that mid jungle matchup. And then finally, we have Catboy and Jurors versus Ellie and 4 Kittens. I'm gonna go Catboy and Jurors, and however, I was talking about the wrong team. Oh, whatever. We're just gonna roll with it. The reason I'm going with sorry, I have 2 predictions for this game specifically, but I'm leaning towards the other one. The reason I'm going with Catboy and Jurors is because I think the bot lane matchup is a heavily favored into Asteria versus Dean, or Asteria and Dean versus Different Sunshine B. I think if Dean is playing, it's going to be Catboy and Jurors win. However, if Dean does not play, I think Different and Sunshine B have a chance to win the lane, I would say. But for every other role, I think Loon could come back and win it, or come back, wake up, say, "Hey, I need to play better." So that's kind of my prediction for that. And if Sunny Blues plays mid versus Harley, I think that's going to be a win for them. And then, like I said, Guildborn versus Seeker, I think that's going to be just a total stomp fest. But yeah, I'm going to go back to Vanguard versus Gawr and talk about Vanguard versus Gawr's real quick. So in terms of roles, I mean, top lane, Zerner versus Last Vegan, it's gonna be tank v tank is kind of what I'm expecting, unless Zerner picks those like Jax and Mord again, which I can see. I mean, he did pick it against me, but we'll see. And then Tubby versus Gawr, really excited about that matchup. I really want if I was to stream a game for Summit, I would definitely pick that one. And then Psy versus Science, Spirit Man versus Foreign Guy and Kai. I'm leaning towards Psy and Spirit Man, but Jungle, Bouncy versus BR. It's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it is gonna go to 3 games, but I'm still gonna favor Gawr's third grade class. I think they're gonna bounce back and take the dub. So, and with that is all I got for you guys today. Yeah, and that's about it. I'm X-Ray. Thank you all for watching The Climb, and we will I won't be back next week, most likely. I don't know for sure. But Gawr will be hosting next week, so expect more from him. And he will probably bring on some guests next week. So if you're interested in being a guest here on The Climb, please DM him and say, hey, I want to be on The Climb. I want to share my thoughts about the games and everything like that. So if that is if that's something you are interested, please DM Gawr. And yeah, that's gonna wrap up this episode of Climb. Thank you so much for watching, and we're gonna see ya.